started already. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah.
Alright, let me just share the stream. Alright, sharing on Telegram and Twitter. Alright, and sharing live on Twitter. Okay. Alright guys, so it is good to see you all once again. I haven't done a live segment in quite a while, or live stream in quite a while, so today is going to be that day. We're going to be covering a couple of things. Firstly, we're going to be looking at the difference between security tokens and utility tokens, right? Especially if we can help you define that, that will be very good. Now, we're not lawyers or legal practitioners or whatever in any way. Neither are we financial advisors. We're just here to cover it from, help our investors kind of understand a little bit. Even for us, we're also trying to define the space. We are trying to understand what SEC's stand and definitions with regards to security or a utility token. The way they define stuff sometimes is very, very complex. So we hope that this video will give you some insights. Also, we'll be covering why Tether is your friend, especially in this current market situation where we want to trade. Right, we still can make money in this market. In this market scenario, it's always good to have one foot on the floor, and that is why I think we're looking at pairings with USD Tether rather than taking profit into BTC or Ethereum. So without further ado, let's get into it, man. So let's look into the stream. Okay, what's up, Abdul? Right, what's up, Chris and Lemery Shuruba? Okay, is that pronounced correctly? Because it's SH1 Ruba with a little cute cookie monster there icon, very cute. All right, man. All right, so yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so let me see now. You can Okay, so security tokens. What is the difference between security tokens and utility tokens? I think this is a very good episode for us to cover that. I've always wanted. Do you know the difference, Andy?
Not really until today.
Yeah.
Fully.
I think to explain it, I want to give credit to my research analyst. So I just want to apologize if I get some of the facts wrong, because it is very, very technical, guys. So feel free to pause or rewatch this video if you really want because the slides are really well done. Okay, in terms of the details and everything, it's all there. So let's get into it.
But one last disclaimer: this is not financial advice.
This is non-financial advice.
Is this a legal advice?
Yes,
okay, just from both of us.
Okay, so what is the definition of a security? So based on the definition of security, right, it means any note, stock, treasury stock, bond, debenture, evidence of indebtedness, certificate of interest, or participation in any profit sharing agreement, right? So basically, most of the time, they are mostly investment contracts. Okay, so a lot of the ICOs love to say that they're a utility token, but in actual fact, they are more of an investment contract. Okay, then I think recently Ethereum was kind of scrutinized a little bit by the SEC, whether it was an IC, whether is it a security or not. So apparently SEC has cleared it, saying that it is not an ICO. So yeah, but I tell you, most of the time, most ICOs are actually investment contracts. Okay, so the importance of classification. So security tokens are subject to some federal legislation that regulates traditional securities defined in the Securities Act, right? So crypto exchanges that have been facilitating transactions of securities have to comply with the regulatory requirements defined in the Securities Exchange Act. So that is why, right, when you are seeing certain tokens that do not meet or they kind of are classified as securities, right, then it endangers the listing. Okay, and exchanges, especially if they are trying to facilitate the speculation of the tokens, they have to be very wary of projects and make sure that they are defined correctly. Especially if it's an exchange that is running in the jurisdiction of the US. Well, there are very few, of course. We only have Coinbase that runs GDEX. I think we have Gemini. Bitstamp is the UK, so it's still okay. But I think most of the popular ones like Huobi, and you have Binance, right? They are functioning not within the US. Huobi, however, does have the HBUS, which is a strategic partnership. So even that exchange, right, has very limited cryptocurrencies at the moment. Okay, so the current state of the market, you have the vast majority of companies that have issued tokens through an ICO did not issue them in accordance with the Securities Act. So that's actually there are consequences for that. So exchanges which are transacting security tokens may or may not have the license to operate as an exchange for security tokens. So this is a very long requirement of registration. Okay, not really going to cover all this, but take note, it shall be unlawful for any person directly or indirectly to make use of any means of the instruments of transportation or communication in interstate commerce, or of the mails to offer to sell or offer to buy through the use of medium of any prospectus. Okay, so this just basically means, right, if a ICO is not registered with the SEC, right, it doesn't have the clearance, of course, and it continues to fundraise and claim that it does, it claims that it does not, it's not a security. Okay, at the end of the day, I think this kind of covers a little bit about whether an investor has the opportunity to kind of file any kind of lawsuit against the project. Okay, so if they fail to do so, right, even if you know that they didn't file and you participate, you still can kind of file a class action lawsuit against them. This is kind of like one of those things where this is very complex. I would say this is really very, very complex. So this is the part where it gets a little, it's not gray. I think more or less, especially if you want to participate in a particular ICO, right, try to understand that this is still the Wild West. So eventually, I think most ICO projects, right, will want to have their project registered under the SEC. But I think it's quite a long procedure and quite a number of litigation matters that have to be done in detail first. So most of the time, I think a lot of projects tend to skip it. But the more credible ones will definitely want to go through SEC or at least try to comply. Okay. Right, so this is the penalty. So any person who offers or sells a security in violation of Section 5, which is the section just now, okay, shall be liable, right, to the person such as to the person such as security from him, or may sue either at law or in equity. So you kind of have some level of accountability, but as an individual, especially if you're investing a small amount, people tend to come together to file a class action lawsuit. And I think this protects US citizens or applies to US citizens. I'm not sure whether it applies if you're outside of the US. So that's one thing as well. So classification, the Howey test. Okay, so the 2 points to take note of is, okay, the test is whether the scheme involves an investment of money in a common enterprise with profits to come solely from the efforts of others. Okay, so right now, you're obviously investing in someone else's company, right? That's why you're investing in an ICO. You are not in control of how that project performs. You have no way of controlling the overall direction of the company. Okay, so an investment of money in a common enterprise, all right, and of course profits to come solely from the efforts of others. So this is kind of like the classification of a security, or they do the Howey test. Okay, so when you break down the Howey test, okay, an investment of money in a common enterprise, it includes initial coin offerings and pooling, all right? So that's why all the while, actually, when people do pooling, it's illegal, guys. Just saying, it's illegal. So excludes airdrops and mining. Now, of course, when you say illegal, are you going to get into trouble? Well, the good thing is that I think most poolers, they tend to put it under their own name. So that individual will declare accredited investor. But I think as the space starts to mature and regulation starts to step in, a lot of people will definitely want to at least reach a certain level of compliance if they decide to do this. That means the pooling will be done with less than I think less than 5 million, and only a select number of individuals. Or is it only accredited? There is this guideline, guys, so it can be quite complex. So breaking down the Howey test. So profits to come solely from efforts of others is a passive investment, lack of ability to control the profitability or direction of the company, which is true. You and I cannot control how a particular, let's say ICX, let's say you've done the ICO or Kyber network, you cannot control the direction. There's no way you have a say. You are just participating in the ICO and that's it. Okay? Yeah. Right, so utility tokens out of SEC's jurisdiction. That's why a lot of ICO projects tend to use this, right, and try to move away. So yeah, so in this case, this is basically what utility tokens are out of the SEC's jurisdiction. So what is Amy Starr's stance? If it's something that you are buying and are only going to use in an already existing platform that you are bound to use, then I would say that token is a use token, use token, which may not have the characteristics of a security. So maybe we can try to give an example. For example, let's say this platform, you're buying it solely for the purpose of utilizing the platform. Okay, that means you are having to buy this token so that you can benefit from the platform. Not from a monetary standpoint, but you have certain use cases. Maybe there's a discount. When you buy this token, there's a discount. When you buy this token, you can execute a smart contract. So it works on many different levels and many different use cases. How it moves and is speculated from a price point on an exchange is very different on how the token is being utilized on the platform itself. Okay, so most projects will claim that no, how my token performs on Binance or Huobi or whatever exchange, right, is not my problem. I'm only focused on the utility and its use case and make sure it functions well when you're using it on my platform. So the next question I maybe can ask you is, how many platforms that you already know have these kind of use cases? Feel free to comment below. Okay, so Ethereum, is it a security or utility? So this is a little bit of old news, but right now, so there's no central figure or group responsible for Ethereum, similar to Bitcoin. It has the DAO at that time, right? I'm not sure whether they still have the DAO now though. Okay, so it is certainly possible that there are tokens that would not have the hallmarks of a security. And over time, many of these fundraisers are intended to develop networks where a token may be intended to buy a goods or service, okay, that's its only use and it doesn't have much utility in other senses. You see, that's the thing, right? Right now, if you are someone who doesn't do coding, you have very little use case for having Ether. Like, when was the last time anyone actually spent or is willing to accept Ether as a form of payment for a piece of for food or travel or anything like that? Because that's not what Ether was meant to be used for. Ether is literally for executing the smart contracts. That's it. Yep. Okay. Can it be a form of digital currency when it's actually not really a digital currency on the Ether network or for certain dApps? Yeah, maybe. We have CryptoKitties, right? If you wanted to play CryptoKitties, you had to spend Ether to buy and acquire, and when you own your kitty and sell your kitty, you can. So yeah, maybe within the platform it's okay. It serves that utility. All right. So exemptions within the Securities Act, they have which are the regulations. Okay, so you can see the regulations of the Securities Act, as I mentioned, allows issuers to raise up to USD 5 mil in a 12-month period. All right. Sale of securities restricted to accredited investors, no limit on the number of investors, and no specific disclosure requirements. Okay. So these, I mean, you can look through all the acts, the rules, sorry. There's Rule 504, Rule 506B. So no general solicitation or advertising to market the securities. No limit on the amount of capital which can be raised. Then financial statements required, not more than 35 non-accredited purchasers, but they must be financially savvy enough to understand the inherent risks involved, must be able to answer questions by prospective purchasers. Then after that, 506C, all investors, so allowed to broadly solicit and generally advertise the offering. So all investors must be accredited investors. The company takes responsible steps to ensure that all investors are accredited investors KYC. So this is the KYC process. I think that in the previous, the earlier ICOs, there was very few projects that required you to be an accredited investor.
Yeah.
Honestly, I have not invested in an ICO ever since quite a while. So maybe the game has changed, and I hope that it is more compliant now. Yep. So that is all that we have for the security versus utility tokens. I think this segment is, I would say, it's a little bit more it's a little bit more intense. You may not need to always know what are all these things, but it's good to kind of be able to define tokens going forward, because I do see the security tokens start appearing next year. And whether or not they are open up, I don't think they should be open up to public though, not yet as per se. It would be really the same AI only. Utility tokens, I think there's still a little bit of a gray area. I'm not sure whether the fundraising will still be functioning in that manner, but I know that fundraising as of now for ICOs has toned down a lot, right? The market sentiment is just purely bad. People of anywhere early 2018 have already been burned so badly that the openness to invest in any new ideas or products is really gone down the drain. So it's really played on a higher level at the moment. All right. So that being said, let us go to the next segment, which is trading trading and investing. Just basically into Tether, or this. Wait, let me see. Using Tether or Okay, so we are going to be talking about why Tether is your friend. So of late, right? I have actually been using more of USD Tether instead of taking profit into BTC. It's just very simple. In the past, I know that USD Tether has been printed out very, it's been printing money all the time. Okay, so in a way, there is obviously certain levels of possible manipulation, and maybe how accountable are you using? I don't care about that, honestly, at this point of time. I really don't. I only care for the fact that if I'm taking profit, I'm making money, and I can use that Tether eventually to buy more Bitcoin when Bitcoin tanks, for example. Okay, it's a good way of just re-entering the market. It's just clearer as if you're using fiat to buy Bitcoin when Bitcoin goes down lower. And if I don't want to send my Bitcoins from Coinbase to Gemini, and then from Gemini to let's say to Binance, and then from Binance back to Gemini to cash out into USD Tether to USD, it's just simpler to just take profit. And also because USD Tether is a stable coin, it doesn't fluctuate in value. So like right now, I think everyone can understand where I'm coming from. Say, for example, you made a very, very good trade on a particular altcoin. For example, let's say we talk about VET, BTC, that went up a good 50%, or ONT went up a good 50% against Satoshi. But when you decided to take profit, the Bitcoin price tanks to maybe tanks a good 5%. So you already lost a good amount of your value because of Bitcoin price just going down. It's not so straightforward. So I rather keep the profits straightforward. I will go into Tether, and currently now I don't see much strength in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is definitely ranging between anywhere from 6,250 or 6,200 to about 6,550. So if it's ranging, it's just easier to use Tether. I don't want to, go into Satoshi and just confuse myself. So right now, probably we can cover a few questions. Okay, so Chris has been asking. Okay, let me try to get some questions off from the chat. Guys, feel free to ask questions. It's always very, very nice to have questions, and I think it's been a while since I've done this live stream. So take the opportunity to ask. Okay, so right now, if you're so you're asking. Okay, so Brown Puppy does use USD Tether, but it's good to have True USD. Yeah, there's also another option which is True USD. Personally, I've not used True USD. I think it's always good to have another kind of stable coin. It's fine. All right. Now we have. Okay, what's your ultimate portfolio setup? Okay, right now my portfolio setup is very, very simple. BTC will be my main bulk. Okay, I have my Tether that is about 20%. So my BTC can fluctuate between 40 to 60%, right? And then I have Huobi, I have Quantum, I have Huobi, Quantum, and what's the there's Huobi, Quantum, and NPXS, and I bought Decentraland as well. Yeah. So you guys know me, my portfolio of coins will never be that much, nothing exciting. People who are looking at Huobi or cannot buy Huobi may want to look at Binance instead, so that's also another alternative. Yeah, it's all cool, guys. Yeah. Okay, so I remember last time you mentioned on Kyber, Quantstamp, and wow, that's a long time ago. Kyber and Quantstamp have already been. I've already sold them off already.
They have made their moves.
Yeah, and guess. Quantum, I've reduced my allocation into Quantum to less than 10%. Let me explain why. Actually, Quantum, I've never had a very high percentage. Okay, because although I believe that they are a very strong contender in the smart contract protocol space, they still are. You can see that they are strongly still building the developer community. You can go and check them out on their Twitter. Don't take my word for it. Just go and look at their Medium and their Twitter. They are always doing weekly community updates, by the way. So for Quantum, just so you know, I reduced the allocation because I felt that the use cases are still very far away, especially for people like myself. I am not a developer. Andy is not a developer. I cannot fully have that much of something that I cannot really use. Okay, so that is something that I'm starting to try to understand and have to accept that fact also, right? It goes to show that whether you have ICX, I think some of you all buy ICX because it's below $1. That was the reason. But I also am guilty of buying Quantum. I'm also guilty of buying Ethereum when I clearly am not a developer. I cannot create a smart contract. The SDK or the developer tool, the developer toolkit is not ready for me to simply use plug and play or anything like that, drag and drop. It doesn't have any of these features. So I realized that Huobi is just more friendly for me, right? Because I do OTC, okay, or at least CG does OTC. We are potentially looking at having discounts for certain things, especially when we own the tokens. We are also the part of the Huobi Knights program where we are ambassadors for Huobi, and it requires us to have a certain amount of Huobi in our accounts. So for that, at least there's that use case, a very simple retail use case. Eventually, when they move to the Huobi chain, that's great for the developer space. But they created the space for the retail investors first. You see? So you see how big a difference it is? So allocation wise, same thing, 20% maximum. Because if we still believe that this space has more upside, we don't have to dedicate too much anyway, And I think overall, when you have this kind of allocation plan, when you do your own dollar cost averaging strategy on your weekly or monthly basis, you are able to stay invested in the market, especially during these kind of down times. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. Okay, how much? Okay, so Dharma brother is asking, Question for CG: how much percentage you have in Tether right now of your portfolio? Oh, okay, I mentioned 20%. It can go as high as 40%, by the way.
Whoa. So you made some t-shirts for us. Thank you.
Sorry, where do you see that?
Dama brother.
Oh,
Just
okay.
below.
Right. Oh, thank you very much, Dama brother. That's very nice of you. Okay. Maker die is another option. Okay. Quantum has been silent for some long time. Have you heard of the never fall in love with a coin comment? Yeah, I think in terms of fall in love, okay, look, I've always looked at things very objectively, and I think this whole space is not about falling in love. It's just about giving every project the time it needs. Okay, I think especially the group, especially whether you're from CG, whether you're new to this video or whatever, right? I think we've all matured to a certain level that we understand that they are building a business. If you are someone who is building a business, you have to ask yourself this: Are you building a business from scratch? And if you are, you will know how difficult it is. Fundraising may seem easy, but it's not. After you raise the money, do you have the right financial managers to manage the operational costs? And after that, build your product based on your roadmap, deliver, market it again. Just encouraging people to come onto your platform is already a problem already. Just look at us, for example. We are always consistently coming up with new content, trying to help the people who are coming into this space. Also, we are helping the people who are currently in this space. If they are currently stuck in their portfolios, I mean, we are all stuck, right? We are looking for the fact that our portfolios are down a certain percentage, right? No one can predict how low can the market go. No one. If you're telling me you short from a certain level, say you short at 8,000, you didn't believe, great, right? So now you notice that now there's this very short range to play. When you play with this very short range, what is going to happen? You're going to be squeezed. You're going to be forced to use more leverage, okay? Because the movement is 5% up or down, okay? So when the movement is 5% up or down, you want to kind of generate more return, right? So you don't have much capital. That's when you go to Bitmex, because all the signal groups are using Bitmex now, okay? Even we are using Bitmex, but for us, we use Bitmex as a complement to our existing portfolio. That means we use Bitmex or shorting or longing as a tool to hedge. See, it's very different. We don't use it as the main component to make money. We are still going long, but we want to capitalize on the downside trends or when the market is range trading. What do I mean by that? I do not want to sell majority of my Bitcoins at these suppressed prices. But if I know that Bitcoin is always consolidating from, ranging from 6,600 to about 6,200 at the moment. But I don't want to keep selling and buying back my whole stack. I will dedicate a small portion of my money to short, or I open a short contract that is probably the same amount. Let's say, for example, I have 100,000 Bitcoins. I want to create a contract for 50,000 Bitcoins, okay? So I open a short, $50,000 short at 6,600. And if the market goes down like it has, I will be able to profit without me having to sell all my Bitcoins for 6,600. You see the difference there? So yes, I'm still back holding, as a lot of the youngsters love to say, my Bitcoins. Why didn't you sell all your Bitcoins? Now my next question to you is, what if it does do a breakout above 6,006 and it flies up to 6,008 or 8,000? And end up I'll be chasing. So what I'll do is, I just did a hedge. I just protected my position. I didn't protect my whole position. You can always short $100,000 contract or whatever is your portfolio amount, and just protect the price. You can do that for any altcoin that is available. So apparently you can probably do that for ADA, you can do it for EOS, you can do it for Ethereum at the moment. Yeah, I mean, it's up to you. I use it in that manner. I don't chase profits or I trade extensively on Bitmex. I don't. Right? But at least I understand how to use the tool to my advantage. So what happens if I get liquidated? That means meaning that, oh, at 6,006 it jumped to maybe 6,008 or 6,009. I don't get liquidated often because, and even if I do, right, it is a play that just happened based on market manipulation or the price just running up randomly. If you look at the wicks of the current price, reload, right?
It's okay.
Okay, because, okay, let's say if you look at the price at the moment, right? Okay, wait, I want to show them the chart. Okay, if you look at the chart currently, right now, when you look at this is Bitcoin price, right?
Binance.
Okay, so this is Bitcoin price on Binance, for example. You look at the wicks and how brutal they can be for a trader. Okay, I'm not sure whether you guys can see. I hope you guys can see. If you can't see, just let me know. It's in black. So you can see, can you see these wicks here? Okay, so if you're someone who is longing or shorting anywhere in the middle, right? And you did a 25x. And if you did a 25x leverage on your position, you are most likely taken out anywhere along here or here. But you probably got the direction correct at some point in your trade. But unfortunately, because the market is so volatile, right? It took your whole position out, or you get stopped out. So for me, I kind of use a very low leverage. I don't use more than 10x. Okay, I don't use more than 10x. I am just literally just protecting my existing investment position. See, it's very different. So that's my style, right? So in terms of tethering, so Ryan, what if I don't want to use Bitmex? I'm happy for you because I still believe in not using leverage at the moment. But if you want to tether, if you want to take profit, how much of my stack should I take profit? At the moment now, right, you have to be a little bit more aggressive. I would say that I can boldly, if I ever did see a nice spike in BTC, right, I'm willing to sell off 40 to 50% of my BTC stack, and I can say I can confidently rebuy back because at the moment it's ranging, so it's just kind of obvious. But yes, there will come a point where the whole market will move up or move down very drastically, and sometimes you cannot catch. So I hope that when I make that decision, right, based on either OBV or based on a candlestick formation or based on a particular Fibonacci support or resistance level, based on these indicators, right, I will be able to sell a portion. You know, it's always an art and a science also in this space. It's an art and a science. It's not always like, sure, you look at these indicators, the market is going to move in that direction. It doesn't. Sometimes the RSI is low, but the bloody OBV is high. It can be like that. Or the OBV is very low, but you see the fucking RSI almost oversold. What do you do then? You know, do you long or do you short? Yep. Which one do you follow? So there are a lot of decision making, and it takes some time to kind of tune in, and you have to just put your money in to help. You just have to put your money in to kind of allow yourself to experience the current situation, right? Sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong. But I think when you trade the extreme ends of the range, right, that means you don't get greedy and go anything in between. You should be fine. That means literally, right, you're waiting for areas like this to long, or you're waiting for areas like this to short. You get what I'm saying? It's really like that, and it's a number of patience. You'll be saying, oh Ryan, based on the 4 hours, I have to fucking wait so long before I can decide to do a short. Well, better than it happening anywhere in the middle and you're like fucking undecided, right? You look at these two things happening here. These two candles literally is like, okay, your what's your upside? Okay, so this is, what is this on the 4 hours? So it's 314 and up to 613, so about $100. So it'd be like, okay, those who are day traders will be very happy. You know, $100, it's quite decent, especially if you're doing 25x and above. But your liquidation price is actually pretty close as well. It's probably around here. See? So if the wick touches your liquidation price, right, anywhere along here, right, either you're shorting, that means your liquidation price is above your strike price, right, or your liquidation price is slightly lower, but the wick, right, clears you out. So end up, right, you are getting liquidated left, right, and center, even though the fact that you're getting the direction correct, but you're putting in too much leverage to the point that it doesn't allow your trade to play out accurately. This is the bloody problem at the moment. So yeah, just saying. So I think there's a very good comment that is from Shiruba. Man, I hope I'm getting the thing right. So it's funny, at the highs in December, all you heard was people wishing they could see cheap cryptos. Now they are here. It seems they wanted them all to go lower and not buy. You're right, man. It's always the fear and the procrastination, because there were people who bought in at, say, okay, let's look at the earlier time frame. Okay, let's say here. Okay, you see, there was this period of time where there was consolidation. So maybe we go to 1 day. We'll go to 1 day charts. Yes. Okay. So if you look at the 1 day, right, there were periods of time when you had consolidations around 9.2, right? So there were periods like this, and then after that, when the thing dipped, people were very unaware about what to do, because honestly, guys, imagine how much of the value dropped, right? And at that time, people didn't really register, especially during this time. People didn't really register. Okay, so it did drop very drastically, but it also recovered. So people think, okay, this was just a small, this period was a correction. Boy, it was a correction. So it went up. Okay, people are like, oh God, I'm safe. It's going up. It's probably going back up to 25 Gs, man. So all start to buy, and that's when you see the reversal candle. Not too bad. After that, the whole thing just caved in, and everyone was left back holding at the $15,000 to $17,000 range. Yeah, it's not easy. I must admit, it's not easy to manage Bitcoin or understand the Bitcoin price charts. Okay, it's very easy to comment on hindsight, but I tell you, when you're in it, you won't think that way. So personally, I re-entered. I did sell off at the highs, but I re-entered a little bit early as well. So I re-entered around this period. You see? So I'm personally, like, if you talk about Bitcoin, I'm down 50% on the value, but I did do some stuff that allowed me to cushion my losses. For example, in February, we entered heavily into Huobi. Huobi did very, very well in terms of price. It was launched at $2. It did go down to about as low as $1.20, and it went up to a high of $6. So we did stuff like that, right? And you know that I'm pretty aggressive when it comes to certain things that I'm very confident in, and that helped to buffer and cushion. At the same time, I did call for 2 points of cash out. One was during December, right? When everyone was laughing about me talking about Dragon Slayer, because I did Dragon Slayer too early. That was when I was in Switzerland. So I did it, I think, in October or November, but Dragon Slayer only kind of happened in 2018. So yeah, I was too early. Then I made another video to say, look, guys, when the market is at 8,000-9,000, I think I also asked, I think, guys, it's time to cash out. I think it was around here or here. I think it was around here, okay? So it rose up and I asked for a cash out as well, okay? Then I said to re-enter again at 6,600. That was when I was in having my staycation at Marina Bay Sands. If you saw me, the little teacup, I was having a bit of coffee. So stuff like that. So I've cashed out a good portion of my portfolio, but at the same time, I left a good portion in just to kind of see what I can do and stay invested, because I like to stay connected with everybody. I don't like to just make a decision when I'm sitting away from it. It's not the same, It's good actually if I were to do that, because I want to experience the same emotional frustration. I like to do that because it's only fair. Because when you question me, I can tell you straight in the face, my money's in too. You know what I mean? Although I don't have as much of my wealth in there, but at least I have a diversified away, and that's how I also educate you guys. Ever since I've been starting the channel, we've been talking about gold, we've been talking about investing outside of cryptocurrencies, go into stocks. If you're someone who likes mutual funds, go into mutual funds. Nothing wrong. Property, if you can afford, why not, right? So these are the things that we've always considered. So right now, I think you guys probably have questions with regards to technical analysis, and I think Andy will be the best person to kind of cover all that. Feel free to hit us up questions on live stream, and we'll answer them like right now. $4 LTC, bro. Look, man, I think you've been with me for quite a while. $4 LTC was, I think when last year it was $25 LTC, $20 LTC to be exact. $19 was the low that I've ever seen LTC. Yes, there was $4 LTC. That was back in the beginning of 2017.
Yeah, I saw it in last few months in 2016. It was about $3. It went up to $11.
Okay.
Was it the last
late 2016?
Late 2016.
I wasn't looking at Litecoin. I didn't know what it was. I did not know what it was. Okay. All right. So, Andy, what is your opinion on the completion of our market cycle possibility ready to go up?
Woo! So you have to ask a tough question.
Very good question. Very good question.
Okay, so now I'm basing it on a few things. And this has nothing really. Okay, this has no correlation to TA whatsoever. Okay, less of. Why? Is because it's all about sentiment right now. The market sentiment, right?
And what's the sentiment?
And it's bad. Okay, you think about it.
Where do we get this sentiment from, Andy?
I've always been discussing this with Ryan, right, on a car rides or whatever not. But think about it this way: currently, what is essentially pushing the market price up? Is there any news that is potentially going to push the price up? I mean, if we talk about maybe the CBOE decision on the SEC, the SEC decision on the CBOE ETF, that is possibly the only thing, and we are counting on it being accepted. And therefore, the market feels that, yay, it's time to go bullish, right? But the percentage or the probability of it being rejected or even delayed is higher than probability of it being accepted, right? I mean, consensus-wise, everyone thinks the same way. So what's going to happen is on 30th September, we have about a month and a week to go to 30th September. What is pushing the market right now? Think about it. Nothing, right? So that's why that explains the consolidation in so many market cycles. Why? Because no one knows where Bitcoin price is going to go. No one knows what news is going to push it. The bullishness is not going to come so soon. Everyone's going to be left back holding. And don't expect the whole BTC price to moon in September. Don't expect that. Even in October and November.
When was consensus?
Damn.
When was consensus New York? Anyone can remember?
Was it
July? Consensus New York was in July, right?
July,
let's check out July. Nope. June. July. No, July 2017, right? July 2018. Yeah. So July 2018, right? You had so June, July. I remember that consensus New York was in July. Nothing much, guys. Well, you kind of had this. You had this kind of movement upwards, but I think this movement upwards was regards to ETF.
Yeah, it was
the potential ETF. What you call ETF approving.
Yeah.
And you have the people from Palm Beach saying that the likelihood of the ETF is going to go through, my friends, and I'm like, what? No, because there's no way that you can. You can't keep track. At the moment, if you want to have an ETF, where are you pulling the data from, right? Is Coinbase recognized yet? It's probably the best chance to be recognized, but is Coinbase recognized yet? Why do you think BUCK is coming out? Because BUCK is run by NYSE, right? So if BUCK is run by NYSE, at least I think the SEC can be a little bit more. They are able to comply, right? They are also they understand how the NYSE runs and functions. They know how to make SEC happy, right? So that way, that index being there, or once BUCK is established as an exchange, it will have a Bitcoin index, it will have an Ethereum index, and that's when you probably will see the ETFs being approved. Right now, I don't see any of the ETFs being approved. I do not. Whatever ETF that you see at the moment, unfortunately, is just sure. If there's going to be range height for you to work with, please go ahead. I mean, look, this is ladies and gentlemen. I mean, if there are any ladies, I think you're very brave. Look at what we have left with. 6263 and 6584. We're fucking squeezing. You know who's happy? Arthur Hayes is happy. And Arthur Hayes works, Bitmex is North Asia. It's run outside of the US, so it functions in North Asia where speculation is like, everyone's using Bitmex.
And there's no KYC, guys.
There's no KYC, guys. You can go and set up a Bitmex account.
In 1 minute.
I mean, look, you can try the VPN, just for the fun of it. And then wow, you can deposit, you can start having fun on your own live online casino. It doesn't check whether you're below 18 or what. It doesn't care. You can just go online and just get it going. And unfortunately, there are people who, they have $100 in Bitcoin, they put it in and they make a little bit of money, they make 20% very quickly. They start getting very adventurous. Then they think, hey, maybe I can borrow some money from friends and family. And then the next thing you know, it gets wiped out. Rome wasn't built in a day, guys. You should know that I've been investing in this space since 2016. Fuck. I'm not a pioneer in this space. Please, I'm not. I will not claim I'm a developer or an early adopter. I didn't even participate in the Ethereum ICO. But I tell you, it's so challenging because there are so many different bubble pops and bear markets that we have to go through, right? And at the same time, when we are handling our Discord group and our viewers and our viewers' expectations and everything, it's very, very challenging. So right now, you are going to be challenged at the moment because you're coming in at this time and you're asking yourself, hey, is this an opportunity or not? But I can safely say, right, it's an opportunity because you know why? A lot of people got all caught up here. You're coming in here, okay? You're coming in here. Are you telling me that even if it drops another fucking, $2,000, because now when you're following this channel, you're going to be using a dollar cost averaging strategy. You're not going to be the desperate individual that is going to fucking put in 100 grand at this point, right? If you have 100 grand, I know that you're going to use only maybe 5 to 10,000 and gradually put your money in, right? And take your time. I know you're going to be an individual that will do that because the individuals that are now all caught up here and here, they are left with either a realization of loss that they are trying to work very hard to get out of, or they practically put it into Bitmex and lost everything. Don't do that, right? Strategize your investment or trading approach. It can be done. There are people who are still making money. We are still making money. We lost money, but we're making good money to making it back. Because now we already told you, use USD Tether. Keep it simple, guys. Right? If Bitcoin price movement is 5%, you have $10,000. You make 5% on $10,000. Yeah, it's okay, right? It's $500, right? You wait for your opportunities.
Yeah. I think the other thing I could really share is I have certain friends working in certain firms in China. So what they actually told me is that this is just for my friend, okay, it could be biased, but many of the natives Chinese traders, crypto traders in China, they are using purely on Tether trading. Purely. Don't care about BTC, they don't care about Ether, they're just trading Tether in and out of different odds, making their profit, put it back into Tether, because they feel that US dollar is a true value in that sense, and it's easier to manage their profits.
I think it's not about that Tether is true value, it's just that they are more willing to accept for the fact that I want to keep things simple.
Yep.
Okay, making money, or at least a trading strategy or system, should be simple. It should not be complicated. Okay, don't complicate shit. Okay, the market is already very, very difficult to sometimes determine information, and if you complicate your trade, right, you're stressing yourself out very unnecessarily. Really. Okay, for example, right, I just did a very simple entry for Huobi, right? I bought Huobi at $180, $190, $2. Huobi went up to $230, I sold some. When Huobi went up to $240, I sold some. When Huobi went up to $250, I sold some. When Huobi started going back down, I rebought. So I went back in at 220, 215, 210, 205. Was that a very simple explanation of laddering in your buy-ins and taking profit and laddering out? I think it was very, very, very simple. My 6-year-old could probably re-explain that. So do that. If your life is already very complex, you're an individual who's trying to make ends meet. You drive fucking 1.5 hours to 2 hours from your suburban area neighborhood to get to your office. Don't complicate stuff. Take the time to also enjoy life and be with the family and friends. This space, honestly, is going to be here to stay. We are going to be here a long time. So yes, right now is an opportunity, guys. At this price here, 6,000 fucking 400, 6,003, 5,800, 5,000. Start putting some money in. You're not going to be that far off. You know what I mean? You're not going to be that far off. You don't have to worry that it's going to be fucking going down to fucking 3K, 2K, 1K. The likelihood is very, very low. But are we going to see fucking 10,000, 20,000 BTC this year? I doubt so. There's no catalyst. There's no real reason for that to happen. Because at the moment now, I think China is still establishing itself. Could China suddenly, come in full swing ahead?
Never know.
You never know. But is there enough news to drive the market as what Andy has mentioned? At the moment, nothing much, guys. So work within the range. Opportunities can still be found. It's just that you just have to open your eyes a little bit wider and be very disciplined in your investing and trading strategy. Why don't they just print more money and buy the market up? Crypto is usually squeezing the money out of people. Even the manipulation in trading. Okay, that is very, very true. We have to accept that. They can do that. Very good question, OBS7. My friend, they can do that. Okay?
I think Bitmex is doing that somehow. They don't print, they just use the BTC kind of? Maybe?
You never
Probably.
know. You never know whether they're playing both sides.
Yeah.
You see? This manipulation will always be happening. Okay? Manipulation will always be happening. For example, why we came to a little bit of that conclusion. On Bitmex, okay, there are two exchanges that they take note of for the Bitcoin price. One is Bitstamp, the other one is GDEX. So on GDEX, there was a day that I was having a position, okay? There was no way that if I look at the two indexes, right, would I have been taken out in terms of a stop loss? It was not possible. The price was 5,995 on Bitstamp or GDEX, and the other one was 6,008. My liquidation price was 5,800 and something, okay? And my position got liquidated. It was a very small position, but I got liquidated because the price on Bitmex moved in such a manner. They still have a certain element of control. Yeah, so if you're having 50% and the lowest point was 5,995, this is just a week, and the other side was $6,008. How is it that on Bitmex it could have gone down to 5,800 plus? It's because of the contracts and the order books that are, after all, Bitmex it's still an exchange in itself. It holds all the derivatives and also can execute all the orders independently. So sometimes you may see a slight there's a slight difference in price when you look at the mark price compared to the actual trading price on Bitmex.
Even if you look at the candles, they are also different. Like Binance candles are very different from Bitmex candles. The wicks on Bitmex is always longer than those are on Binance. If you don't believe, just go and check it out.
So I think there's a certain question where should we be at least longing alts at the moment? Right now, unfortunately, we can't safely say we can long alts because alts are also largely dependent on the price movement of BTC. So if you notice, when BTC is recovering, this morning for us, it was 6,245 to $6,265. Everything was low. I personally bought Huobi at 205. Okay, so I was very comfortable with the price. I was obviously queuing at below $2, 180, 190 as well. I got my 205 205, 206 orders in. Right now, Huobi is at $2.14. Yeah, simple money, man. Keep it simple, right? Is it shit? You look at guys, look at the chart, man. It's like fucking ant moving. You know, it's like it's not exciting anymore, guys.
It's pathetic.
It's not very exciting anymore.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think always stop hunting. That's exactly right. You know, stop hunting. You know, don't always keep trying to look for stuff. I mean, I'm not hunting, guys. I'm keeping my view, my strategy very, very fixed on a few cryptocurrencies. I don't even need to. Okay, the good thing is that I don't need to use too much. I don't have to take too much effort to find a trade for myself. I don't have that time. But when I do see a very good level, I can tap on my guys and say, hey, is this level okay to go in? And I look at the charts myself. I feel it's agreeable. There's a level of consensus, right? And we go in, we enter, we make money together, and I keep it very simple. I don't have to hunt for anything, man. So yeah. Are we gonna be in a 2-year bear market again?
What do you think? It's hard to say, man. We hope not.
I don't think so. I think next year will be a good year.
Yeah.
I really feel next year will be a good year.
Yeah.
Because as long as there's a very straight and direct way for people to start investing in the space, paying taxes. I think it's all down to also being taxed, right? There are a lot of people at the moment that are trading cryptocurrencies, and unfortunately, they are not being very honest about their gains, their capital gains in cryptocurrency. So this is kind of like one of those things. Even for companies, right? They are trying to define how to tax companies that have raised funds, and sometimes certain companies actually are trading as well.
Mm-hmm.
And when they make gains on investing in other people's ICOs, which is also quite a joke, because as a company, especially when you're an ICO, you raise money and you invest in other people's ICO, right?
It's very
you're not allowed to do that until you are established yourself. You create an investment arm, but because now it's still the Wild West, it's okay lah. You don't get caught. Yeah. Okay, so no one is throwing the towel, striker. All right, we are just saying that the volume is a little bit low. So you're looking at very small range-bound plays. No one is throwing in the towel, man. We're still trading ourselves. It's just that this year is going to be very, very slow. You don't prep that the market is suddenly going to take a run up in the next 4 months. It's not like that. Right now, you're looking at the dailies to the 4 hours to the 12 hours to the 1 hour, and then you just take it from there. Right? No point you try to anticipate that there's gonna be huge massive volume when you don't have that kind of news and you don't have that kind of insights. CoinDesk, Cointelegraph, CCN, Bloomberg and everything, they're all singing the same song. In fact, they're kind of moving away from crypto at the moment. They're talking about the current stock market, they're talking about the trade tariffs. You look at how the whole sentiment has changed.
Yeah.
Right? Because right now, people want to get excited. So the people who are still in the space are people like us, man. We are still in the space. I'm just saying that don't get too overly enthusiastic. It is a bargain at the moment, right? But no one can really see that, or no one can confirm can it go lower, especially if, for example, on the 23rd, you're going to have the announcement. So you mentioned something today with regards to that impact. You want to share a little bit about that? The impact of the news
of the ETF announcement?
Yes, correct.
So what I was sharing with Ryan is, okay, so this is the dynamics of the market or traders mindset. Okay, I think this is the last thing we really want to talk about. So understand that as with the largest impact will always be the first news announcement, right? So when the CBOE decision, when SEC decision on the first time of CBOE delay for the ETF decision, the first delay caused a huge dump of the market.
Yep.
Right? So that dump was probably from about 8,000-ish to about 5,000-ish or 5,800 or 6,000 level, right? So it's about $2,000 deep. Now that particular dip was an anticipated dip. That was already priced in that sense, right? People heard about the news. It went down. But what I was sharing with Ryan is that there is a decreasing intensity in terms of the next news announcement, because traders are actually preparing themselves. They are already thinking right now that number one, ETF actually doesn't have a huge impact on the market. More different articles are coming out saying that actually the ETF won't really impact the price a lot. Okay. Secondly, traders are then trained to realize that okay, so BTC might go down, but if you realize based on the consolidation so far, we haven't really exit below 5,800. The support is still holding very strongly. So, and also a lot of articles, a lot of signal groups are saying 5,800 is the last stronghold. We cannot go lower than that. So everyone is singing the same song sentimentally. So for it to really go down, it either takes a strong rejection of the SEC. A delay may not even cause a huge dip because there is a decreasing intensity of how the impact could be. Okay, so this is just my own speculation, but I've studied how the market has actually reacted to news before, and I realized the intensity decreases. So the first wave will always be the largest, and then the intensity decreases. The dip will then decrease as well. All right, and then suddenly boom, the breakout happens. That's Elliott wave in theory as well. Yeah.
Okay, so guys, if you want to see more live streams, or you feel that we have stuff that you like to discuss with us, we will be here every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Singapore time. I think in Europe time it's probably 10 a.m.
Yeah,
I think it's probably 10 a.m. on Central Eastern time. And we'll see you guys in the next live webinar next week on Tuesday as well. See ya.
Take care, guys.